What's up, guys? It's Demented Caliber here. So, as most of you guys know, I have quite a few piercings. I actually have 8 now, and I got my eyebrow pierced last night. I actually got it re-pierced, but you guys will see that later because me and Taro are planning on doing a piercing rant video, and yeah. So I'm coming to address this video right here, just so I can cover some baseline and get some shit done. So let's go ahead and see.
Do it. All right, let's get started on a list of the top 5 most dangerous piercings, part 2. Starting off in our number 5 spot, tongue. Well, tongue piercings
Okay, this is gonna be good.
seem to be on trend at the moment. They are extremely dangerous. Since your mouth is filled with bacteria, it's super easy for this piercing to become infected or swollen. In really bad cases, your tongue can swell up
Incorrect. I'll explain here why.
so excessively that it can actually extend into a portion of the throat and can close off your airway. There's also the concern of nerve damage. This piercing is a delicate procedure that requires great accuracy to avoid striking a nerve. If the piercing isn't placed in just the right spot...
Okay, first off, tongue piercings. I have one. I've had one for, I'd say close to 8 years now. Maybe a little bit less. Somewhere's around there. I've had mine for quite a while. And one thing I will say on a top note is that tongue piercings are one of the easiest type of piercings to take care of. As being, you literally, all you have to do is obviously brush your teeth and use alcohol-free mouthwash. Or if you can't find alcohol-free, you can actually take some Listerine and do a 50-50 with water and dilute it. And that works fine. That's what I did with my snake bites. Is all I had on me was Listerine, so I just put a little shot cup, diluted it with water, and it worked fine, and everything healed. But yes, you can get tongue ring infected. It's one of the hardest ones to get infected. It can happen, and the way she's making it sound like that, it's really dangerous. When in all reality, your tongue festers up, it becomes inflamed, it becomes swollen, which that's normal. Tongue swelling up is actually normal, even like when you first get it done. Like a few hours after, it'll start to swell and so on and so forth, and that's just because your tongue is essentially a muscle, and you're pretty much piercing that muscle. But the reason, and this is where she got this wrong, the reason that they have to have pinpoint accuracy when doing a tongue piercing is because you have veins on each side of your tongue. If you're off by, say, a millimeter, you hit that vein, you're most likely going to bleed out. I don't know if it'll go that far, but the point being is it has nothing to do with nerves, because you have nerves all throughout your tongue. It's just... You're going to hit a nerve no matter what. So...
you can wind up with permanent nerve damage. At number 4, nape. It's highly likely for this area to become infected.
Alright, so we're going to skip this one because I don't have this piercing, and this does not include me. Let's just go ahead and skip through it. Ah, here we are. Here's one that I actually have. Here's number 3.
This thing called septal hematoma. This is a rare but potentially dangerous effect. It can cause difficulty breathing and even potential facial deformity. This can cause dramatic swelling, pressure, or congestion, making it difficult to breathe. Also, if the septum was pierced incorrectly, blood capillaries may have been broken and can cause uncomfortable fluid and blood buildup. Coming in at number 2 spot.
Okay, so there's only one way. Well, there's actually 2 ways you can pierce a septum. You can pierce it through the actual little flap of skin, which is the proper way. Or in some cases, I've actually experienced this personally because I went to a shitty piercer, and he had pierced my septum through the cartilage. The odds of you actually getting blood from septum piercings, it's very slim. I'm sure it happens. I mean, you're going to... How would I say this? When you get any type of piercing, whether it be eyebrow, septum, lip, doesn't fucking matter. In most cases, except for the ears, I haven't seen too many blood come from the ears, but you're always going to have the potential possibility of popping an actual blood vessel. So in the case of my eyebrow, when I got it done last night, there was a little bit of blood. Why? Because there's tiny little blood vessels that can be punctured. It's not a bad thing. I don't know why she's making out like it's worse than it actually is. And calling this dangerous is just, it's completely retarded.
Subdermal. This piercing can cause serious complication as it involves inserting a metal plate under the skin. There have been a few cases reported where the piercing became embedded into the lower layer of skin. This piercing consists of two main components, a flat plate which sits beneath the skin and a changeable piece of jewelry that sits on the surface. They are connected together.
Alright, yeah, this, I will give her this one because subdermals are kind of dangerous. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're dangerous, but they don't take very well compared to like a traditional piercing. So I will give her this one. My mom had a subdermal and, well, it rejected, so there's that.
By a post that protrudes through the skin. Yeah, that just doesn't sound pleasant. And if you need to get this piercing removed, it will need to be done surgically. And at number 1, uvula. I didn't even know it was possible to get this area pierced.
Okay, this I don't know anything. This is off my books. Honestly, it is. But let's go to the first version of this video. See, go back.
In this day and age, body piercings are
because I want to address something in this video as well.
Very popular. If your friends get something pierced, then it's likely that you'll want to get something pierced as well. And well, it's amazing top 5. Sit back, subscribe, and let me entertain you. Before we get started, I want to know if you could get our number 5 spot, eyebrow. Now this one surprised me. This is a more common piercing after all. While it's unlikely a problem will occur, if it does, it's bad. If this piercing results in a tissue injury, it will only take you a few days after you get it pierced to notice. So if you make it past that mark, you're all good. However, there have been cases where a careless eyebrow piercing made the tissue around the
Alright, so let's go ahead and keep playing real quick.
The area caused the person's vision to weaken, which is pretty terrifying. Also, since the damage isn't due to the nerves but the tissue, this can result in extreme dry eyes. So like I said, this is one of the more rare dangerous piercings, but it can still happen. And with your sight being up as a bargaining chip, it's not worth the risk.
Okay, so here's the thing. Eyebrow piercings aren't that bad. Again, this is my second time having mine done, and if you, with any piercing, if you clean it properly, you're not going to have any issues. The picture she was showing was 9 times out of 10, somebody didn't take proper care of their piercing. It got infected, and it swelled up. Like, honestly, this is fucking crazy. So keep playing.
4, ear piercing beyond the lobe. Multiple piercings and cartilage piercings can leave long-term scarring that will be visible when you no longer want to wear the jewelry, which, let's be honest, will happen. You're going to get older and eventually get sick of the multiple piercings. I mean, there's a reason none of our grandparents have crazy piercings. At least the majority of grandparents don't anyway. Anytime you make an incision, you're going to have a scar. Doctors will often...
Okay, here's the thing. Talking about cartilage piercings, obviously, I've only had one in my lifetime. It got infected. That was my fault. But, talking about cartilage piercings, or piercings in general, if it's pierced right, you're not going to have much scar tissue. So, here's an example. And I think me and Taro actually talked about this one time before. So, you take a gun, a piercing gun, compare it to a piercing needle, tri-bevel piercing needle. Or is it tri-bevel? I can't remember. My lovely fiance, who actually knows more about this stuff than what I do. Point blank, you take a piercing gun, compare it to a piercing needle. The piercing gun's going to do a lot more damage because it's blunt force trauma. As the needle, it's not necessarily pushing its way through, but it's cutting its way through. So it's a lot safer, and you have less scar tissue overall. And these piercings right here, what she's showing right here, the cartilage piercings, those are no good. There's a lot of issues with those.
Be asked to reconstruct someone's ears after years of wearing spacers or...
Which brings me back to my previous argument. 9 times out of 10, this piercing was not properly cared for. It got infected, and that is the result.
having cartilage being torn due to having multiple piercings and having it get snagged on.
Again, the only way your cartilage can actually get torn is obviously if it does get snagged, you can potentially rip it out. But most of the issues with cartilage piercings actually comes from the piercing gun. So if you go to Claire's and get a cartilage piercing, you're going to shatter your cartilage. You're going to cause so much trauma to it, and you're not going to have a pretty day. Plus, it's a hell of a lot more painful. I know this from experience.
On something and ripped out. At number 3, snake bite. Some of you might not be familiar with this piercing,
so this one's a little misleading because it shows a person's lip, right? And then it proceeds on,
it's a curved
and it proceeds to this. Now, these are not called snake bites. These are actually called snake eyes. And I would agree. They kind of, I'm not going to lie, they kind of look stupid. But hey, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to get. I'm not one of those guys. If you want to get snake eyes, go ahead and get snake eyes.
Barbell put through the tip of the tongue. And apparently it's an incredibly unsafe piercing to have. Along with that, we also have something very similar yet equally dangerous called snake eyes or venom bite. And this one is made up of one curved barbell with a ball on each end, and it's right at the end of the tongue. Some of you might have noticed that this is the piercing Danielle Bregoli has. Some studios have actually banned their...
Okay, so I understand Danielle Bregoli is internet famous, so to speak, but, I mean, you couldn't have picked a better fucking example? Like, the girl's fucking underage as it is. She's not a good example. Jesus Christ.
Staff from giving people this piercing because it's so dangerous. The reason...
Well, if that was the case, I follow a lot of tattoo forums, a lot of piercing forums. And I do a lot of research on that stuff, and nothing came up about snake eyes and snake bites or whatever you want to call them being dangerous. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm probably looking in the wrong fucking place, but I mean, come on. So let's keep going.
This is a dangerous piercing is because it binds together the two muscles that make up the tongue so that they cannot move independently.
Well, here's the thing. I want you... I guess your name's Courtney. You're probably not even going to watch this video. You got 230,000 subscribers. But anyone, I want you to try and move your tongue muscles independently while it's attached together. You can't. The only way you can move your muscles independently is if you get your tongue split. Which, again, and that's actually a stupid procedure. My fiance disagrees with it 100%. It's not, that's not safe.
Turns out this piercing is also very dangerous for your teeth. The jewelry itself sits on the back of the teeth. It's almost guaranteed that the person will see gum erosion, cracking or chipping of teeth, or rejection or migration of the piercing, leaving a...
Okay, well, here's the thing. Again, why are you showing this? This is This right here is a result of not properly taking care of your tongue piercing. Yes, tongue piercings can get infected, but here's the thing. You're talking about migration. A lot of piercings can migrate. My mom used to have her belly... use my mom as an example. My mom used to have her belly button pierced, and, well, it rejected. It migrated out. It's just something that happens. Your body doesn't agree with that metal or doesn't agree with that placement. So my mom, she can get any piercing on the face perfectly fine. But if she like tries to get her belly button pierced again, it'll just reject. Anything below the face will reject. So that includes the subdermal implant, belly button, and stuff like that. But it's just it really goes based on who you are and what your body agrees with and doesn't agree with.
Nasty looking scar. Yeah, definitely not worth it. In at number 2, corset piercing. This one looks incredible.
All right, again, I'll give her this one because corset piercings have the potential to be ripped out. But let's go ahead and hear her out, see what her reasonings are.
Incredibly painful. And surprise, surprise, it's not a safe piercing to get. Certain piercings like this one tend to damage the nerves beneath them, often causing certain organs to dysfunction or stop functioning altogether because the nerves won't take the signal.
Okay, I could actually see that because, like, in your back, you have Obviously, your spinal cords and different nerves coming off your spinal cord and so on and so forth. So I could see that, but like the nerves in your tongue, I don't really see that too much, and the possibility rate of a tongue piercing get infected it's relatively low if you know what you're doing.
This can even sometimes affect the central nervous system as well. So yeah, while some of them may look pretty to you, they are definitely not worth it. Not to mention if one of those piercings catch on to a piece of your clothing, ouch. And coming in at our number 1 spot, genital piercings.
Okay, we're not even gonna touch this because you know what? Again, that's out of my books. I'm not touching on that. But yeah, I don't want to touch that. Somebody else can touch that if they want. If they want to make a response video to my video touching the genital piercings. However, go ahead. I don't have a genital piercing, so this is not in my reach. I've did a lot of research on corset piercings. I did a lot of research on a lot of piercings. Just genital piercings, not for me. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. This is Demented Caliber signing out.